Up next, and every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, tune in to Grand Theft Auto Biographies with Guinness Walker. And don't forget Grand Theft Auto Geographies, Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern. Only on Weazel, confirming your prejudices.
Warning, this program is entirely fictional and made by a sole Canadian man. All characters and events in the show, including the host, even those that are based on real people, are entirely fictional. The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and the stupid, and the criminally insane. The United States has seen its fair share of gangbangers, mobsters, and psychotics who've roamed our beloved streets, causing untold chaos, destruction, and corruption. Tonight, on Grand Theft Auto Biographies. Violence, hard drugs, and rock and roll. This is the lifestyle of tonight's subject. Tonight we will examine a man motivated by his impulses and his selfish need to constantly be in control. We will follow the life of one of Alderney's most notorious criminals and arguably one of the most violent and sociopathic leaders of a biker gang in the history of the state. A man who was plagued by the demons of addiction,
coming off heroin's kind of hard.
Anger,
Get my bike!
And hedonism, who rose through the ranks of the infamous Lost Motorcycle Club, leaving death and destruction in his wake as he did so. We will witness anarchy, civil war, and broken bonds of criminal brotherhood as we document the life of the Lost MC's longest-lived president, Billy Gray. This episode of Grand Theft Auto Biographies brought to you by my incredible supporters on Patreon. Sign up today to get all the music from my shows, early access, and a spot in the credits. If you enjoy this series, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notifications of new uploads. It costs you nothing, and it helps the channel tremendously. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the show. William Billy Gray was born in 1971 in Actor, Alderney State during the height of the Vietnam War. Growing up, Gray was fond of watching films and news coverage of the war and the rapidly unfolding Chinese Cultural Revolution, which fostered a prejudicial attitude in the young thug who held no sympathies for violence committed against foreigners in the name of his nation or any other. Who Billy's parents were is a complete mystery, but whoever they were, they don't appear to have had much of an impact on Gray's development when compared to his other influences. Early on, Gray would develop a narcissistic and callous disregard for the lives of people around him, and would be a bad influence on his peers, seemingly as early as age 13. In fact, it was around age 13 in 1984 when Billy first met and befriended Michael Klevitz, a boy 2 years Billy's senior, who described Billy's messiah complex of an ego as Jesus on an acid trip. Through Michael, Billy would first be introduced to another infamous biker in the history of Alderney State, Johnny Klevitz, Michael's younger brother, who would become enamored with Billy's rebellious attitude almost immediately. Billy would become a bad influence on Johnny and presumably be responsible for setting Johnny K on his own path of violence, one which would ultimately spell doom for Billy many years in the future. At age 15, Billy would perform his first known crime when he hijacked a motorcycle, and just 1 year later he was arrested again for assault, which presumably caused him to be sent to juvenile hall for at least 2 years, jump-starting his criminal career. Already in the system before his 18th birthday, Billy would go all in on becoming an outlaw, and almost immediately after serving his time in juvie, joined the notorious Alderney biker gang, the Lost MC, when he was just 18 years old. Not long after joining the Lost, Billy would kill for the first time, receiving a charge of murder in 1989, possibly alongside fellow Lost MC member Brian Jeremy. While it isn't clear if Brian and Billy served time together, it seems likely that they did given the timing, and the fact that Brian would go on to be Billy's staunchest defender in the gang. Starting as a prospect in the Lost, as all new recruits did, Billy would work his way up through the ranks of the organization through intimidation and sheer force of will, bringing Johnny Klevitz along for the ride as he continued to influence him in the worst ways possible, as a pseudo-big brother to Johnny. Eventually, Billy's tenacity would see him reach the rank of club president, taking control of the Alderney chapter of the Lost through use of sadistic and unrelenting violence, which he extended to the Lost's main rivals, the Angels of Death, operating out of the North Holland area of Algonquin. Under Billy's leadership, the Lost would conduct one of the most brutal gang wars with the AOD since 1982, and flood the streets of Liberty and Alderney states with the blood of his enemies, possibly an excuse to live out the fantasies of violence he'd imagined since he was a young boy. While leading the Lost, and possibly long before even joining, Billy would also develop a habitual drug problem, primarily with heroin and even steroids, which only worsened his often unpredictable and harsh attitude, adding further fuel to the conflict with the Angels, which went on for over a decade. Billy's reckless attitude as a gangster and a leader would also see his fellow Lost MC member, Angus Young, crippled during a road accident, resulting in Angus using a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and even, presumably on purpose, put the nephew of AOD road captain Joseph Joe John Johnson in a coma, thanks to his custom-built Revenant motorcycle, built for him by Angus and Johnny K. That same bike would also be responsible for tearing an unnamed woman's leg off, resulting in the need for permanent amputation, in another road incident which Billy seems to have been barely fazed by whatsoever. Billy would receive further criminal charges when in 2002, he was arrested for racketeering in connection with the Lost's many illicit businesses, but if Gray saw any prison time at that point, it was presumably very short-lived. He would also begin sleeping with on-again, off-again girlfriend to Johnny K, Ashley Butler, despite his supposed friendship with Klebitz, which planted the seeds of future discord, and may have even ultimately led to Billy's death many years down the line. By early 2008, however, Billy's antics would finally catch up to him, when he was arrested on a drug distribution charge and finally saw prison time, albeit only a few months, on condition of attending rehab whilst inside, for his destructive heroin addiction. By late 2008, Billy would be released from prison and rehab on uncharacteristic good behavior, having sobered up, against his will, and pretending to find peace through a 12-step program in order to get out as soon as possible. Upon becoming a free man once again, however, Billy would immediately return to his old ways and begin clashing with the then acting president, Johnny K, after regaining his position as rightful leader.
You do understand what probation means?
Yes, sir.
It means that if you continue down that same path, you'll be locked up and calling some cellmate daddy within a month.
Yes, sir.
If I had it my way, we wouldn't waste our time. You'd be inside already.
Mr. Gray has made great progress. His share on willfulness was one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. I believe in this man.
Well, let's hope you don't live to regret that faith.
God works in mysterious ways.
In this case, seems God is downright perverse. But I'll leave the salvation to you gentlemen. You stay out of trouble.
Yes, Daddy.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Remember, it's a disease.
I know, Chad, I know. It's a disease. Meetings every day. Call you if I feel the need to use. Pray. I pray. In fact, I'm praying right now.
You're very willful.
Was very willful, Chad. Was very willful. I've changed. And you know what, Chad? You changed me. Gentlemen, shall we get the fuck out of here?
Hey, stay in touch!
Yo, here you go.
It's about time. Home sweet home.
Whilst inside, Johnny had established peace with the Lost's longtime rivals, the Angels of Death, in part by compensating the Angels for their many losses by selling them Billy's custom Black Revenant, much to Billy's immense frustration.
Yes,
So, Johnny, what's going on?
Not much, Bill. Usual stuff.
We missed you, Bill. So, aching for a fucking drink here?
Amiguito.
Come on, just pour a Willy Wetback.
Boys?
Some wet pussy and dry tequila.
Salud. Okay, another round for him.
Goddamn right.
Yummy. So, Johnny boy, where's my bike?
You know where it is.
Let me rephrase the question. Where the fuck is my bike and where the fuck haven't you got it back for me?
Because you know where it is.
Are you deaf? Give me that whiskey. Are you fucking deaf?
No!
Then answer the goddamn question. Why the fuck haven't you got it back for me, friend, brother?
One word. Business. Like I told you when you were in there. Or were you so busy playing holier than thou, you started believing your own bullshit?
Oh, forgive me. You know, I've had a complicated few weeks.
I can only imagine, Bill.
Shut up, Brian.
You know, coming off heroin's kind of hard. I think I acquired this touch of amnesia. What business is more important, Mr. 1980s yuppie big shot, than your best friend's bike when he's close to getting a 15-year stretch?
The business that pays his lawyer's fees. The business that puts food on all of our tables. The business that we are all in while you're out pretending to be saved.
Get my bike!
What am I, your fucking dog?
I told you should have gotten back.
You told me. You told me. You don't tell me shit, you little fuck. Listen, Billy. They were pissed, and they had a reason. Your bike chopped that girl's leg off. You put Joe John's nephew in a coma. The deadbeats kept the bike, and we needed the money.
You needed some balls. Some fucking heart. Something. Can't believe I'm hearing this shit.
And I can't believe I'm hearing this. After everything we did for you. Paid your rehab. Paid your lawyer's fees. Paid your rent. Paid everything. Shit, we set stuff up for you. We do well, man, but it's time to be smart.
You're right. No, you're right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run right out and buy a condo, get a mortgage, 401k, and then fold that over into an IRA and a CD. CD. What the fuck, man? Be smart? You be smart, you fucking chump. You're ridiculous. Have you got a health care plan?
Come on, Johnny, let's just get his bike. Come on.
Well, on your head be it.
It always is. It's called leadership. Shit meaning something.
Yeah, and your shit means a lot, man. Come on.
Johnny.
Yeah?
Wait, come here. Listen, man. I'm a little pin up right now. You saw that shit I had to go through, right? It was really frustrating. Fucked up shit. Craziness, right? Okay, so I'm a little pissed off and I've been a bit of a prick lately. But come on, man. You and Angus built that bike for me? That's gotta stand for something.
Yeah, you're right, brother. I'm gonna go get it. And you know what? Peace and prosperity be damned.
Peace and prosperity be damned, my brother. You are my brother, Johnny. Always.
Let's go!
After learning of the good times Johnny had come to preside over, Billy would seek to dismantle it as quickly as possible, starting by retrieving his bike from the Angels at their compound in North Holland, after beating its location out of the bike mechanic Johnny sold the Revenant to, Pretty Boy.
Hard to say if that chopper's even around anymore. Sorry, boys.
You will be, my friend, you will be.
Hey! Good to see you, Bill. Man, I thought you was dead.
Jim, start up the bike.
Whoa! Hold on. Wait! Please! No!
Where is my bike?
Speak, you ugly fuck! Okay, listen. The Angels of Death took it to that place in Northwood.
What the fucking Angels of Death?
Thank you!
Yes. Thank you!
After retrieving his bike, Billy would retire to the Lost Clubhouse and continue bickering with Johnny, further egging on the vice president out of frustration with Johnny's comparatively level-headed approach to running the gang in Billy's absence.
Okay, Bill. Got your bike. Take what you gotta take, drink what you gotta drink, fuck what you gotta fuck. I don't care. Kill who you gotta kill, but get it out of your system. And when you do, give me a call and we'll get back to business.
You're not my P.O., brother. Remember who the head of this chapter is.
I do, man. Trust me.
Tell me, you still have Ashley's phone number? Why don't you give her a call for me? Tell her I'm inside getting all sorts of fucked up, and that I would really like we, meaning all of us, would love some pole.
Comfortably back in the saddle, Billy would attempt to celebrate his return with meaningless sex and partying, much to Johnny's disappointment and frustration, causing further tensions due to the radically different mindsets when it came to running their club. Their argument would be interrupted, however, when Lost member Jason Michaels informs Billy and Johnny of a group of AOD, called Deadbeats by the Lost, looking for answers from Billy as to why their truce had been broken unceremoniously, to which Billy responds with his trademark impulsive violence.
We got a couple of fucking deadbeats outside.
What fucking deadbeat? What the fuck do they want? I'm out of rehab 3 minutes and they think they can crash my party? Come on!
Yeah, let's go.
We gotta do. Gentlemen, gentlemen! Why the long faces? Might I tempt you in a swift libation, my most trusted and honored guest?
I thought we had a truce going on.
Did you? Funny thing, I wasn't aware. But let me tell you, it's a strange kind of truce that makes you think that it's okay to gatecrash my party? Deadbeat motherfucker.
I'm sorry. You enjoy your little party. I take it the good times are over. No problem, old man.
Screw you, you deadbeat prick!
Yeah,
Think you can come to my party and gatecrash? Come on!
Yeah, come on!
You moron.
After killing the AOD lieutenant, Johnny, Billy, and 2 other Lost MC members would chase down the fleeing Angels and gun them down before they could inform the rest of their chapter about the broken truce. After successfully avoiding an immediate and strategically dangerous return to war, Billy and Johnny would meet up once more with Jason before he departed to meet daughter of Russian mobster Mikhail Faustin on Firefly Island, which would result in Jason's untimely death.
Whew. Disaster averted, brother.
Yeah!
You coming back?
I'd love to, man, but I'm seeing this hot Russian broad over on Firefly Island. Gonna drink her daddy's expensive vodka and fuck her under the pier.
Ooh, young love in the modern world.
Yeah!
That's beautiful.
Well, these deadbeats won't be screwing around with us anymore. Let the good times roll.
It wouldn't take long for word of the Lost's return to form to reach the AOD. However, and not long after, the chapter would be swept up into full-blown war with the Angels when they attack a group of the Lost at an industrial park. Upon learning of the attack, Billy wouldn't skip a beat when rallying the rest of the Lost to take the fight back to their enemy.
Oh, man. Tom Stubbs would love hanging out with you boys. He may be a politician. But he ain't no square.
Smoke, Dave?
Oh, hell yes.
I put some mescaline in with the weed, Dave. So I'd be very careful if I were you. You could be tripping for days.
I could handle it.
Oh, yeah, I fucking love you, man. Oh, Jottys, look at this guy. This is Dave Grossman. By day, top lawyer at Shysters. By night, a knight of the road battling the very corporate forces he represents. Hey, Dave, are you a bisexual?
Very funny.
I didn't think so. I guessed you just like cock. Jonathan, bong hit?
Nah. Hey, Dave, forgive me, man. Would you fuck off for a second? I gotta talk to Billy. Please. Dave. Up, Dave. Thank you.
You look serious.
What's next, man? Documentary team in here? You gonna write your autobiography or something?
He's cool. He's a lawyer. He can help us with shit.
He looks like an asshole.
Right now, I think he's tripping his face off.
Whatever.
Look, dude, you and me. Shit seems kind of tense lately, doesn't it? It's kind of lame. Have I offended you in some way?
No.
Then what do you say we put all this shit behind us and have some fun? Because life is pain, brother, and through this life, through this brotherhood, we can give the pain the finger.
Suck my dick, Pain. Yeah, you're right, man. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah? Are you fucking kidding me? What? Where? All right, all of you, let's go! Let's go! Our boys are getting jumped!
Fucking ass, boys!
Despite overwhelming odds and likely thanks in large part to the considerable skills of Johnny K with an auto shotty, the Lost would win yet another battle and take down all of the attacking AOD before learning of the death of Jason Michaels through Billy, who initially reports his death as being at the hands of an Eastern European. A story Billy would change not days later for his own convenience, to further his goals of retribution against the Angels.
He was banging some Russian broad and her heavy-duty father didn't much like it.
You hired a fucking Polak to do it.
I think he was a Serb, Brian.
Fucking Slav scumbag all the fucking
Shut the fuck up. Brothers, we will find a way to get payback. against this Polish, Russian, Serb, I don't really give a shit. In the meantime, let's take a moment to remember Jason and all the other men who've given the finger to this shitty little thing that we call conformity.
Amen, Billy. Got that right.
Now, Jason he's just a kid. But he hit the throttle harder than most of us, huh? He's a lawbreaker, troublemaker, beer drinker, and hellraiser. He didn't suffer fools. Got any piece of hole he wanted. Always had time for a brother in need, and he was scared of precisely jack shit.
That's right.
In short, the kind of man I'd want to be. Jason Michaels. Lost, but not forgotten.
Amen to that, Billy.
Jason.
Okay, boys. The time for pussy licking and ass kissing is over. We are brothers for life, lost forever. In these perilous times, it's more important than ever that you follow your leader, and that is me. Remember.
Yeah.
See you boys back at the clubhouse.
The escalating war would also be reported on by the Liberty Tree at the time. Quote, "A gas, leather, and crystal meth-fueled war is raging on the streets of Liberty City. It isn't nations fighting, but rival motorcycle gangs, battling for the control of the streets. Men have died in this war, like the lost biker Jason Michaels, who was killed in Broker recently. How long is it going to be before innocent civilians are killed as well? Mainly thanks to the Angels of Death and their public relations efforts, biker gangs have taken on a much more friendly image in recent years. They appear in family-friendly movies and are romanticized in video games and TV shows. They are thought to stand for a noble rebellion against the norms of society. Be warned, this image is just a smokescreen used to cover up their real criminal agenda, sleeping with your wife and selling meth to your kids." With the war increasing in intensity by the day, Billy would begin seeking new avenues to cripple his enemies, and at this time meet with Pegorino family capo regime Ray Bacino to purchase grenade launchers for attacking the Angels of Death. Though Billy would attempt to cut Bacino out of the loop by figuring out who Ray's supplier was, Bacino would be too clever to fall for it, and instead simply purchased the launchers for his upcoming attack, which he'd up to that point told nobody about.
Johnny, you met Ray?
Hey.
Ray Bocino? Hey, my brother, Johnny. Johnny the Jew.
Johnny the Jew, how the hell are you? Do me a favor, help keep this degenerate out of jail, all right? At least until he's paid me.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, later.
What's he selling you?
Toys, my boy, toys. Now, come on, let's go.
Man, where we going, Bill?
Pay somebody a visit.
Billy, man, please don't be a dick.
Johnny, you seem a little tense lately. Have you considered some analysis? Maybe a day spa? High colonic?
Colonic.
Together with Johnny K, Brian Jeremy, and several other Lost MC members, Billy would storm the AOD's main clubhouse in North Holland and set it ablaze, with Billy using the excuse that the Angels had been the ones actually responsible for Jason Michaels' death, despite knowing for a fact that they had nothing to do with it. Facing pressure from Billy, Johnny would obey the orders given to him and help Billy crush the Angels as they poured out of the burning building, leaving the unburnt spoils inside to the Lost.
You sick or something, man?
These deadbeats killed Jason?
Yes, they did. Now, take one of these grenades and put it through their window. The Almighty forgives, Johnny. The lost don't.
Yeah, amen, Johnny boy.
They would mercilessly cut through the waves of deadbeats and infiltrate the crumbling club to claim a prize which Billy claimed to have been ignorant of, an enormous shipment of heroin, with close to $2 million in street value. Whether or not Billy was aware of the Angels having acquired the heroin themselves off of the Chinese triads and attacked the clubhouse with the explicit purpose of stealing it themselves is unknown, but given his many criminal contacts, and the fact that Billy lied to convince Johnny to aid in the attack, it may have been yet another thread in the plot of Billy to once and for all rid himself of Johnny Klevitz's insubordinate attitude.
$2 million in arm candy is as good a payback as I can think of. Come on,
Jesus,
brother.
Bill, hold your fucking horses, man. Now we're gonna steal their smack? Slow down.
Slow down, huh? Hold up, wait. Ooh. Jesus. Physics lesson, fuckball. Do you know how motorcycles work, do you, Johnny?
You about to get schooled.
Centrifugal inertia. Meaning, the quicker your wheels go, the more stable you are. The faster we go, the harder we hit it, the more us brothers pull together. That's why we do what we do. That's how we do what we do. Why? How? They're the same fucking thing.
We go faster, longer, and harder. And that's how we stay together.
Brian, shut up.
What the fuck are you talking about? You gotta stop reading them shitty internet sites, man, and start thinking about what you're doing to us. We lift this shit right now, and every deadbeat on the East Coast is gonna come after our chapter.
Well, that's something your leader will have to worry about, not you, soldier. Brian, grab the shit.
Despite Johnny's objections, Billy would order Brian to retrieve the stolen heroin and begin sitting on the product, until such a time that they could find a buyer. Billy would first have Johnny attempt to sell it through Bohan drug queenpin Elizabeta Torres, but the deal would be ambushed by the LCPD, and Johnny would nearly be killed. Given the growing rivalry between Billy and Johnny, there is at least cursory evidence to suggest that the deal being broken up by undercover FIB agents had been orchestrated by Billy himself, though this is speculation on our part and could not be confirmed. Whether or not Billy was involved in the first deal being botched, by this time he would grow so frustrated with Johnny's constant backtalk and refusal to immediately capitulate that he would plan to have both Johnny and his most loyal supporter, Lost MC treasurer Jim Fitzgerald, killed at a second deal. He would meet with the Liberty City Triads in Chinatown and arrange to return their stolen heroin in exchange for the Triads eliminating his biggest internal threats in Johnny and Jim.
In that case, I guess my brother is in good hands. You take care of that prick.
It seems the definition of family loyalty differs in your country.
The marketplace has a value for everything, and I guess that a disloyal Jew bastard ain't worth shit to me, brother or no brother. Such are the heady joys of consumer capitalism.
A system that's flaws are becoming increasingly evident.
Ah, that's right, I forgot. You little yellow people are commies too, huh? Both sides of the fence? You know, I grew up watching your kind getting killed on the TV. Hell of a show.
I'm sure, but perhaps the show wasn't as much fun as the reality of that war.
Perhaps not. Now I bid you farewell, sir, and don't do all that smack at once. On second thought, go ahead. Do. Boo.
Hey, watch it, you greaseball fuck.
After setting up the betrayal, Billy would lead Johnny, Jim, and Brian Jeremy to the meeting point in Chinatown and order Jim and Johnny to personally meet with the buyers, while he and Brian guarded them from outside the building.
Hey, what's up? I'm just trying to explain to our friend here that possession is 9/10 of the law. We should make the Slopes pay us back.
Billy, I got Chad on the phone. Pay us back for what?
Look, we have a business opportunity here, Johnny. I think a guy like you should be pleased.
Yeah, but Jim says there's some problem.
There is. That H we stole. It belonged to the Chinese. The deadbeats told them we got it and they want it back.
So? Fuck them.
Finally!
Billy, Chad's on the phone about the meeting.
Look, normally I'd be down for that, but these aren't the type of dudes you just say fuck them to. There's some heavily armed, pissed off motherfuckers who killed a couple of angels when they found out the shit was gone. Now I'm thinking maybe we could strike up a deal with them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you just suck them off while you're at it? And tell Chad I'm sober as can be over here!
That's what I told him. I just think that given this war we're back into with the Angels of Death, and given the fact that one or possibly two government agencies are looking into our shit, that offloading the heroin would be a good idea, all right? And looking for a fight is the wrong thing to do right now, given the fact that we can't even stop fighting amongst ourselves.
Yeah, you're right. We should probably all get in a circle, hold hands, pray, sing kumbaya.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, whatever. This ain't no joking matter, Billy. We'll either end up dead in the ground or back in the lockup with you.
I ain't going back there. I'd rather be dead.
Damn straight. Well, you don't have to do either, man. I just think that getting rid of that stuff now is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Still completely naive to Billy's plans, the two would meet with the head of the Triads and attempt to broker a peace, only for them to try and kill Johnny and Jim, before taking back their drugs, which had already been stolen twice over.
All right, Jim, Johnny, since you two were both so vocal in your support of this deal, you two are going to be the ones to hand over the Brown to the Slopes.
What? What are you and your boy here going to be doing?
We are gonna watch your backs because unlike this fat man here, I just don't trust those little yellow bastards. Good luck.
Hey, they don't need luck. We're looking out for them.
This better be cool, man.
Things would not go according to plan, however, as during the meet, the triads would neglect their end of the bargain by failing to kill either Jim or Johnny, and in the ensuing chaotic shootout, the police would arrive to break up the party. Billy would attempt to escape but crash his bike when avoiding an oncoming police cruiser, resulting in Billy being arrested and detained for his presumed part in the violence, for which Billy blamed Johnny K, believing he'd been triple-crossed during his own attempt to betray Klebitz and vowing to kill Johnny for the infraction should he ever get out of jail.
You set me up, Johnny! You set me up!
Put your hands in the air. Now!
Fuck you, Johnny! You're dead!
Shut your goddamn mouth! Shut your mouth!
Dead!
Shut up!
From the Liberty Tree at the time of the Chinatown Massacre, quote, "The police commissioner has stated that, besides terrorists and peaceful political protest we don't approve of, the next biggest threat to civic order within Liberty City is motorcycle gangs. A recent barroom shootout resulted in several young Asian men dead at the hands of the leather-clad, bike-riding harbingers of death. We could not reach a member of the Lost Motorcycle Club for comment, but a spokesperson for the Angels of Death denied any member involvement in this altercation. He claimed that they are just a bunch of guys who like to get together, get drunk, and then ride choppers. We keep our noses clean. If lines of methamphetamine have a sanitizing effect, then this guy might be right." Facing numerous charges and likely life in prison, Billy would finally reveal the depth of his treachery and his self-preservation when, while in jail, he makes a plea deal with the FIB to testify against Johnny K and Angus Young, to receive protection under a federal witness protection program. It was through Billy's FIB contact, a colleague of the man responsible for busting the Lost's first attempted sale of the Triad heroin, that Johnny first learned of Billy's betrayal, and began organizing his own plans to eliminate Billy to avoid prosecution himself. While awaiting his time on the witness stand, Billy would serve his time in the Alderney State Correctional Facility and assume himself safe, at least from the likes of the rest of the Lost MC, but he would be proven very wrong. With help from a congressman, Thomas Stubbs III, who had been incidentally introduced to Klebitz through a contact of Billy's, lawyer Dave Grossman, Johnny would plan his revenge against Billy, and organize the single largest prison raid in the history of Alderney State. With help from Terry Thorpe, Clay Simmons, and several other Lost MC members, still loyal to Johnny K after Billy's arrest and the subsequent Lost Civil War, Johnny would break into the correctional facility and shoot his way through dozens of guards to reach Billy, who was attempting his own escape in the chaos of the situation. Johnny would eventually reach Billy, who taunted Johnny with being too weak to kill him before lunging at him with a knife he'd stolen during his attempted escape. Despite his hesitation, Johnny would ultimately execute Billy in the prison courtyard and continue the cycle of violence that Billy himself had made Johnny a part of.
Checkmate, dude. Come on, get it over with. Do it!
I'm doing it!
What? You waiting for a speech or something? Come on!
William Billy Gray was an impulsive and sadistically violent sociopath. Almost always acting out of anger or impulse, Billy never seemed to show even the slightest hesitation when it came to initiating violence over even the simplest of perceived infractions. Having personally indoctrinated Johnny K and possibly Brian Jeremy as well into the criminal lifestyle, he viewed himself in an almost messianic capacity, never questioning his own reasoning and either being unwilling or incapable of honest self-reflection. Billy had a god complex, and believed that his own word should be respected as law, despite his own contradictory tendency to backstab and betray anyone who threatened his rule, even if their objections were rational or presented in a reasonable manner. Billy was seemingly a manipulative and dishonest individual his whole life, lying when it was convenient, even if it meant deceiving his friends, and killing whenever necessary, and oftentimes even when it wasn't, and valuing his own life above all else, despite his proclamations of being a leader and part of a sacred criminal brotherhood, which seemed to be in reality far less important to Billy than simply being obeyed without question. Even before his arrest in 2008 and subsequent time in jail/rehab, he had intentionally slept with Johnny's former lover, Ashley Butler, despite knowing Johnny's feelings for her, likely either to assert some kind of dominance over Johnny or because of his blinding indifference to anyone else's feelings. He was openly racist against Chinese people, and likely many other groups, though he doesn't appear to have had any overt issues with African Americans, given the presence of several members in the Lost being black, like Clay Simmons, though it's entirely possible that he simply held deeper prejudices for Asians due to his exposure to the Vietnam War violence he saw growing up. If there was one thing that Billy seemed to care about, it was Billy, and he doesn't appear to have ever had any truly stable relationships or friendships, with the possible exception of Brian Jeremy, whom Billy was somewhat protective of, possibly due to them serving prison time together on a shared murder charge, though this remains unconfirmed. He was a heavy drug user throughout much of his adult life, though he appears to have actually stopped using heroin following his time in rehab, instead settling for other drugs such as marijuana, which he would often lace with harder drugs such as mescaline for an even more intense high. Ultimately, Billy Gray was a man who was motivated by only himself, taking fake pride in his being part of something larger than himself in the Lost MC, when in reality, the pride he drew came only from his own ability to control the gang however he saw fit, placing little to no value on the lives of his soldiers, and using their death to frame narratives whenever it suited his twisted agenda. He didn't even value the code of criminals, as is so often the case for many cons once they're standing behind the iron bars, being prepared to rat out Johnny, Angus, and the entire Lost MC if it meant his own survival in the Witness Protection Program. In the end, Billy Gray lived only for Billy Gray, and no one else. Despite being only 37 at the time of his death, Billy's extensive abuse of heroin and other drugs aged him considerably, causing him to look like a man in his mid-40s or early 50s, when in reality, he was only 3 years older than Johnny K. He had receding gray hair and a skull tattoo in the center of his forehead, and like all Lost MC members, was almost always seen in his signature Lost MC jacket, laden with patches indicating his various criminal and debaucherous exploits. The patches on Billy's jacket prior to his arrest indicated several feats of various degrees, including a president patch indicating his status as the leader of the Alderney chapter of the Lost, golden wings indicating that he drunk a woman's urine, brown wings indicating that he had performed oral anal sex on a woman, red wings indicating that he performed oral sex on a menstruating woman, and purple wings indicating that he had sex with a pregnant woman. As the longest-serving leader of the Alderney chapter of the Lost MC, Billy Gray's criminal record is extensive, though perhaps not as extensive as one might expect given many of Billy's crimes were never reported. Like almost every criminal we examine on this program, we must stress that we cannot know for sure just how many crimes Billy committed in his lifetime, but that without a doubt, it was more than we were able to document, and that the following numbers are tallies from his known or recorded crimes, many of which are tied directly to the AOD Lost Gang War of 2008. With that out of the way, let's look at the crimes we do know he committed, starting with hijacking in 1986 at age 15, not charged as an adult. Assault in 1987, not charged as an adult. Murder in 1989. Racketeering in 2002. Drug distribution in 2008. And also in 2008, the assault of a mechanic in Algonquin when he learns of his bike being sold to the AOD. Murder and accessory murder when attacking the AOD at their compound in North Holland to retrieve his bike. The murder of an AOD lieutenant when they confront him regarding the broken truce. Murder and accessory murder when subsequently chasing down the fleeing AOD. Murder and accessory murder when fighting the AOD at an industrial park. Purchasing illegal firearms from Ray Bacino. Murder, accessory arson, theft, and possession of narcotics when attacking the AOD's clubhouse in North Holland and stealing a shipment of heroin. Accessory drug distribution when sending Johnny K to sell the heroin through Elizabeth Torres. Conspiracy attempted murder when trying to have Johnny and Jim killed by the LC Triads. Drug distribution when ordering Johnny to sell the heroin to the Triads. Murder when killing a security guard to arm himself and attempt to escape Johnny's wrath. And the attempted murder of Johnny Klebitz. Despite all these charges and potential charges, Billy only ever served a minimal amount of jail time, though it should be noted that had he not attempted to make a deal with the authorities and been subsequently hunted down by Johnny, he likely would have served a life sentence in the Alderney State Correctional Facility for heroin distribution charges, which landed him in prison before his death. While we cannot say for sure just how many crimes beyond these Billy was responsible for, it's safe to say that his true criminal record would be far more extensive if one could only know just how many people he robbed, killed, or otherwise wronged, who either never reported the incidents due to their own criminal associations or out of fear of retaliation from one of Alderney's most feared criminal organizations. Life in Alderney State for many people has always been highlighted by bouts of violence, be it from biker gangs, Italian mafioso, or vengeful Eastern Europeans. But for a man such as Billy Gray, it couldn't have felt more like home. What makes a man betray everything he claims to stand for, America? Is it simply money, or perhaps power? In the case of William Gray, it seems to have been status and self-preservation. Traits all too common among the criminal filth of America's most dangerous cities, towns, and cursed little hamlets. America is a dangerous place, folks, and men like Billy Gray are just the tip of the iceberg in the sea of criminal activity all across this great nation. Stay indoors, people. You never know if the biker who flipped you off in traffic plans to hunt you down and make you call him daddy for daring to cut him off. I'll see you next time on another exciting edition of Grand Theft Auto Biographies, with me, your host, Guinness Walker. Thank you for watching.